Can I get the package that Shark got? Jeremiah Smith has gone into the prediction business, Maddie.
Yes, he has.
And here's a quote. Is this to the Athletic?
Yeah, it looks like he gave this quote to Manny Navarro, who writes for the Athletic, and this was at the OT7 playoffs. Assuming that's some type of 7-on-7 tournament, if I had to guess. But that's neither here nor there. But he did give this quote to the Athletic. I'm not a sore loser, but I hate losing. And losing to that team up north was pretty crazy. In the end, I think it really helped us play the way we did in the playoffs, but I didn't want to go to Ohio State and lose to that team up north. I just hate them. Just something about them. For the next 2 years, I promise you, I will not lose to them. I can't lose to them in the next 2 years, end quote.
Just 2? Here's the deal. I promise you I will not lose to them. All right, interesting he said I and not we, but we won't dwell on that. The second thing is, here's how you could hold him to that. If that promise is not delivered, then you could dedicate a lot of your NIL money back to the other guys in the program. Ross just put out how you can promote the program. I love these guarantees. I love these promises. I think they're motivating. He's incredible. There'd be no one else that you would pick before him right now as far as having a talent on your team. But the only way that promises mean anything, first of all, in a team game, it's very difficult to promise anything. You can only promise that you will play to the best of your ability in that game.
And even then,
it may not matter. The
position that he plays, he's relying on the offensive line and quarterback to get him.
All promises are only worth the consequences that come along for the ride. And that's it. If he added, I promise you I will not lose to them for the next 2 years, ... And if I do, I'll dedicate $2 million to the NIL fund at Ohio State.
I doubt he's doing that.
Right. So
I doubt he's doing that.
So while everyone can be all for this and have the motivation and the anger of losing, and you love it, right? Because this is what the rivalry was born upon, which is that this hurts more than most. The only card you can throw down on the table is a national championship card. That was so illustrated to me this year that if you want to have that argument, Michigan versus everything, Michigan overall, all that stuff, that it's the only thing that really matters when it comes to how you feel personally. The only thing that trumps it is a national championship. If they would have lost to Texas or lost to Oregon or lost to Tennessee or lost to Notre Dame, it would have all come back to that game. It would have. I think that we would have talked about this as a good run, depending how deep they went.
No doubt.
And we'd give them praise for circling the wagons. Yeah. But if they fell short, we would have talked a lot more about Michigan. The Michigan thing kind of got tamped down because why wouldn't it? They were the last team standing, and that's the criteria of college football. But to hear him say this is great. All the guys should be feeling this. The coaches should be feeling it. And I've said it before in the air. You can't talk about this game 364 days a year, that it's the greatest rivalry in sports, and then if you lose it, then all of a sudden you can't dismiss it. And so here we are again off a national title, and this is now I love the fact that he's leaning into it, and that's confidence and motivation. If they lose to him a fifth in a row, I can't even transport my mind there right now, but it's not going to affect him professionally,
no,
certainly. And so the consequence of it is that he's a leader, and this is how leaders talk.
There are certain guys that can get away with saying certain things. He's one of them. He's Jeremiah Bleepin Smith. He's the best wide receiver in the country. So when you see something like this, I'm here for it. I love when something that's already really spicy, and we know that this rivalry is the spiciest that the sport has to offer, gets a little bit spicier. And we'll come back to these comments, and everybody up in Ann Arbor and around Wolverine Nation, if you will have this quote plastered everywhere when we get to that week, because they feel great about what they've been doing within that game and within that rivalry, and how could you not with the run that they're on? But he has every right to say this because of who he is as a player. Now, how does Coach Dave feel about it? How does Julian Sand feel about it? Lincoln Keynotes, all these other guys? I don't know. I can't imagine that Coach Day loves hearing this from Jeremiah Smith. I don't think he hates it either because of, again, he's number 4 and how special he is. But I think when you're coming off a national championship, sometimes in sports, you can get a little maybe lackadaisical on the other side. What the Michigan game, I think, will provide for this year's team is the opposite of that. And the hunger and the focus will be there because now they have something to chase. Again, big picture, it's always, hey, we're playing for a national championship. But the ultimate motivator is this game. And this year, it's times 2 because of how rough it's been for a long time. So as a receiver, when you're dependent on other people to really complete the mission, you're not always going to be able to follow up on everything that you say because you can go out there and run the best route that you possibly can. And if the offensive line doesn't hold up or the quarterback doesn't see it, you're not going to be able to make a lot of noise. But, yeah, look, we're in July, and we're talking about the game, and we're talking about one of the best players within this rivalry talking some trash. And I'm always here for that type of stuff. It's fun.
The bulletin board material in July does not hit like it would hit a week of the game.
Correct.
Right? It's not like if this was the week of the game and he said, I promise you we're not losing, it would hold a lot more weight.
The world we live in, though, this is going to come back during that week, and it's going to hold a ton of weight when we get to that Monday.
And if he plays great and they don't win, then what's he going to say? He can't. There's no control over this. What this is this is just giving you a glimpse of his emotion on how he views the game. That's all it is. It just illustrates when you throw promises out, even if it was an individual sport, it'd be very difficult to do that. And so this is just a young, talented player, like you say, that wants to be a leader, has a young quarterback, and he is maybe taking up for that. And also, he's also a young guy that lives in this world now where you say things. And whether it comes back to haunt you or not, I don't think it's any concern to him. I think your point of would the coaches have wanted this?
Probably not.
Just because it's the old quote that I said to Dean Evison on Friday. Don't wish for it, work for it. Yeah. Like it's, you can promise all you want. It's what happens behind the scenes that will depend on whether that promise is realized.
I like that Jeremiah Smith doesn't run away from some of this smoke because this is the first time we've seen something like this. Remember the comments he made when Notre Dame was talking about, hey, look, we're still going to play man coverage. I don't care that they got Jeremiah Smith. He was like, okay, I got something for y'all. We'll see. Here's that 3rd and 11 catch to send you guys home, and we'll take the natty with us.
All right, we'll come back in 2 minutes with our friend Jim Lachey, get his feeling on this particular team and the challenges that lie ahead.